Thursday, 21st April, The Gap News This Morning, broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah. Good morning. First, the headlines. Home Minister orders thorough probe into depot breakout. Retail prices for RON 97, RON 95 diesel remain unchanged, says MOF. Plus, takes steps to help users enjoy a safe and comfortable journey during Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Singapore to hang mentally disabled Malaysian next week, says family. Ukraine war, anguish for thousands trapped in Mariupol as evacuation stalls. Ukraine gets warplanes as Mariupol officer warns facing last days. And Wimbledon ban on Russian players unacceptable, Kremlin says. And now the news in full. Home Minister Hamza Zainuddin has instructed the police and the Immigration Department to conduct a thorough investigation into the breakout incident at the Immigration Detention Centre in Kedah. I've instructed the police and the immigration to thoroughly investigate why the detainees, had acted that way, he said in a statement. Hamza said that all the 528 detainees who escaped were Rohingya nationals who were transferred from the Wawasan Langkawi camp after they were arrested for encroaching Malaysian waters in 2020. Some 171 immigration detainees remain at large as of 1 p.m. Wednesday, as police believe they are heading to the Klang Valley, said Penang Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain. He also advised the public to report to the authorities if they come across suspected escapees and not to attempt to detain them. In a press conference with Penang Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow, Shuhaili said of the still missing escapees, 131 are men, 28 women and 12 boys. The retail prices for RON 97 and RON 95 petrol and diesel will remain unchanged from Thursday until April 27. The Finance Ministry, in a statement yesterday, said the retail prices for RON 97 and RON 95 petrol will remain unchanged at RM3.81 and RM2.05 per litre, respectively, while the price of diesel remains at RM2.15 per litre. The new price is based on the weekly retail price of petroleum products in accordance with the automatic pricing mechanism formula. Plus is expecting more than 2 million vehicles on its highway network between April 29 and May 9 in conjunction with the Aidilfitri celebration. The company is taking proactive steps to help highway users enjoy a safe and comfortable ride on the highway during the anticipated festive traffic surge. During this festive season, the number of Plus Ronda patrol teams will be increased to 520 teams to enable an increase in their patrol frequency, especially at critical stretches. Plus will also position tow trucks and cranes at critical locations on the highway to facilitate and speed up the process of removing stranded vehicles, especially at climbing areas, explained Plus Chief Operating Officer Datuk Zakaria Ahmad Zabidi. On critical routes, Plus is also ready to activate contraflow with the assistance of the Royal Malaysian Police PDRM. A mentally disabled Malaysian man will be hanged in Singapore next week after losing a last-ditch appeal, his sister said Wednesday, despite an international outcry about his case. Nagendran K. Dhammalingam was arrested in 2009 for trafficking a small amount of heroin into the city-state, which has some of the world's toughest drug laws, and handed a death sentence the following year. But the plan to hang him sparked widespread criticism due to concerns about his intellectual disabilities, with the European Union and British billionaire Richard Branson among those condemning it. After a years-long legal battle, the 34-year-old lost his final appeal last month, when judges rejected arguments that executing a man with mental disabilities contravenes international law. Ukraine war. Ukraine received fighter jets to help resist the Russian invasion as Moscow intensified its offensive in the east, where a besieged officer in Mariupol warned Wednesday his forces were facing their last days, if not hours. The West has responded to a renewed Russian push into the Donbas region with fresh weapons for Kiev and a push to increase Moscow's international isolation. The Pentagon said that Ukraine had recently received fighter planes and parts to bolster its air force, declining to specify the number of aircraft and their origin. Kiev has asked its Western partners to provide MiG-29s, which its pilots already know how to fly, and a handful of Eastern European countries have. Some civilians trapped for weeks in the besieged city of Mariupol have been able to leave, but officials say they were far fewer than hoped. Donetsk governor said they planned for buses to evacuate 6,000 women, children and elderly people. But Pavlov Klyanko said not many had left. Ukrainian negotiators say they are ready to hold talks in Mariupol to try to save the lives of those stuck there. This comes as the Russian deadline for the last Ukrainian defenders in Mariupol to lay down their weapons has passed. A Marine commander in Ukraine's last stronghold in the city, a steelworks plant, says his men might have only hours left. In a video sent to the BBC and other media, Major Sahib Volina says his troops will not surrender. Meanwhile, Russia is trying to capture the eastern Donbas region in a new offensive, but UK intelligence says Ukrainian forces have fought off several attacks. And now for some sports news. The Kremlin said Wednesday that banning Russian tennis players from Wimbledon over Moscow's military campaign in Ukraine would be unacceptable. Once again, they simply turned athletes into hostages to political prejudice, political intrigues, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters. This is unacceptable. Taking into account that Russia is a very strong tennis country, our athletes are at the top of world rankings. The competition itself will suffer from their removal, he added. The Times reported that the organizers are to ban Russian and Belarus players due to Russia's military campaign in Ukraine. To end the bulletin, here are the headlines again. Home Minister orders thorough probe into depot breakout. Retail prices for RON 97, RON 95, diesel remain unchanged, says MOF. Plus take steps to help users enjoy a safe and comfortable journey during Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Singapore to hang mentally disabled Malaysian next week, says family. Ukraine war, anguish for thousands trapped in Mariupol as evacuation stalls. Ukraine gets warplanes as Mariupol officer warns, facing last days. And Wimbledon ban on Russian players unacceptable, Kremlin says. This has been the Gap News this morning, Thursday, 21st April, with reports from Free Malaysia Today, The Vibes and the BBC World Service. The Gap News is also available on the internet news portal Melaka Hari Ini. We hope you found the bulletin informative. We welcome hearing from you. If you do have the opportunity, please do write in. We would certainly love to hear from you. Broadcasting live from Kuala Lumpur, I'm Ghazali Abdullah.